Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live stream. So, for those of you that are watching the recording and for the live viewers as well, basically for the live viewers, if you have any questions, as usual, you can put them in the comment section. Usually I do these live streams on a Thursday, but yesterday I was a bit busy, so I switched it to Friday. Of course, we also had some breaking news as well. Today we had the core PCE numbers, okay, which is the inflation rate in the US, and that is something I closely watch. That is something the Fed closely watches as well. Okay, so first, let's give a brief introduction to the charts, and then we can switch to a little bit of the fundamentals, a little bit of the economic numbers. So for my watch list today, I do have gold, I have silver, I have the Nasdaq. Okay, so this is looking a bit different from my old live streams. I basically created this new watch list, and it only has to do with the things that are fundamentally in play, the things that are fundamentally very bearish or very bullish. Okay, so we have gold, very bullish. We have silver, bullish as well. Let me see the daily chart here. And we have the Nasdaq, which was giving a very bullish reading. I was in a buy setup, so we can actually cover that here. The trade was right here. Okay. This was sort of a reversal trade. And I had a pretty big stop loss. I think my stop loss was at around 499. Yes, somewhere around here was my stop loss. Now, for my new approach to trading, I am still trading the OG strategy on the 1 hour chart, purely price action. Same thing as I have been doing for the last 3 years. But on top of that, I'm adding a fundamental strategy, sort of a hybrid strategy, which I will briefly explain right now. So I'm still live testing that new strategy with reduced risk, okay? But basically here is an example of an entry. So right here, first, fundamentally, the Nasdaq at this point was very bullish. So the numbers, the economic numbers were coming out good for the Nasdaq. Another thing is that institutional money, also there's a bit of construction going on, so I'm sorry for the noise if you hear it. But basically, institutional money is heavily long the Nasdaq, and you want to do the exact same thing as the institutional money. And the retail traders are, or just the retail investors are actually short the Nasdaq. They're short stocks. So you have the great fundamental play being good economic numbers, institutional money is long, and retail money is short. So that is all very bullish. You want to do the exact same thing as the institutional money, and you want to do the exact opposite thing than the retail traders. Fundamentally, very good play. Also, if you open up any news articles, okay, so if you open up any news articles online, you will find that basically everyone is in panic mode. A lot of news outlets are being very bearish on stocks, very bearish on the Nasdaq, and are trying to introduce sort of these scare tactics to get more readers reading their articles. That's another bullish signal, because when all of the news outlets are bearish, when the general investor is feeling bearish, feeling the panic, then you know that we're pretty much reaching the bottom of the market. So that was my thinking. That was the first part. Second part was finding the actual entry, and I found this reversal entry. So the actual entry on the 1 hour chart is pretty similar to my OG strategy that I'm trading. So right here we see this sort of a corrective descending structure. We see a break of the high with force, with some nice momentum, and yeah, this is sort of a reversal entry. You have a descending channel, you have a breakout to the upside, and oftentimes that breakout will produce an uptrend. So I set a pending order, a buy limit, got tagged in right here. And if you're wondering about the stop loss, so what I usually do is I usually use a pretty small stop loss. Okay. I mean, most Forex pairs with the OG strategy, I use 10 to 20 pips for a stop loss. So how it used to look like is something like this. Okay. But for this fundamental strategy, I'm using a bigger stop loss. And I'm looking at the 4 hour and I'm looking at the daily for the stop loss placement. Okay. So I was looking at the 4 hour. I wanted to place it below this low, but it was just kind of too far away. So I decided, let's do, I think I put it somewhere here around 499. Okay. I decided on this level. It wasn't really a crucial level, but again, this is kind of the area where you get a lot of support. Okay, you get a lot of support in this area. So I decided to use that as the stop loss. You may be asking, why am I using such a big stop loss? Well, the reason is that for the fundamentals to play out, it usually takes a couple of days, maybe even a couple of weeks. And the noise can very easily stop you out like this if you use a tight stop loss, and then the market goes in the fundamental direction. Okay, so bigger stop loss. And unfortunately, I did get taken out for a loss on this one. So this wasn't a 1% loss, it was a 1R loss, but I risked 0.5%. Okay. So this ended up being a minus 0.5% loss, somewhere around there. Very happy with the trade. I'm still happy I took it. I think it was a very high probability setup. Again, I was betting. Okay, I was betting on this being kind of the bottom. Okay, because if you open up any news article, you're gonna see very, very bearish prints. You're gonna see a lot of panic in the markets. So I was pretty happy to place a bet that this may be the bottom, and that we could do this. Okay. So yeah, that was the thinking. And that's about it for the Nasdaq. On gold, I did have a trade, which I didn't really talk about. I didn't really mention it a lot. It was from, let me see. It was on the 1 hour chart as well. It was way back here. Okay, it was somewhere here. I took like a break and retest. I'm not gonna go into it too much. It was again testing out this new strategy. But this was a winner. On this one, I think I ended up making around 2.5, 2.3%, something like that, or 2.3R. So yeah, this was also a play with the fundamentals. You can see my stop loss was pretty large. I had a pretty big stop loss, and the entry was on the 1 hour chart. But anyways, so OG strategy. These are my currency pairs, and I will go through them, but nothing is really moving that much. Okay, nothing is really giving me a lot of confidence. Let me just check my MetaTrader. Check the MetaTrader. Okay, MetaTrader. Yeah, nothing is really giving me a lot of confidence here in these currency pairs. Just we're not moving with any sort of major momentum. S&P down today, definitely breaking lower. Bitcoin, crypto is trying to recover. We're gonna go through this in a bit more detail, but for now, just a quick glance. So one thing that is also interesting with the U.S. oil, which is something I recently learned from trader Nick. Shout out to Trader Nick. I mean, I learned most of this stuff from him, to be honest, and I use his software, Edge Finder. So with the US oil, it's a great indication of inflation. This is something he talked about a few days ago. If this chart is going up, inflation is going up as well, because everything is connected with the price of oil. Everything that we consume needs to be delivered to us either by a ship or by a car or by a plane, and everything uses oil. Okay, so if oil prices go up, prices of goods go up as well, inflation goes up. If oil prices go down, like this, then prices of goods should go down and the inflation should go down as well. Now on the daily, since Trump kind of took over, we had a massive sell-off in oil. Okay, massive sell-off with oil and a lot of, let's say, you could say lower inflation in regards to the correlation between oil and inflation. And this is something that Trump actually mentioned when he was campaigning, that he wants oil prices to go down. So he did manage to do that. But in the process, I guess he kind of fucked up the stock market as well. Okay, so you can see from when he took over, we just had a massive sell-off in the stock market. Okay, so Ismail has a question. Hey, what's up? Hello, Marco. A long time here. Sub, just want to know what happened to Joshua and Guerrilla Trading. Well, basically, Guerrilla Trading kind of disappeared off the map. Joshua quit the game. Turns out he was scamming people in the end. Turns out he wasn't really a real trader. Never, most likely. And that's about it. GT is gone. The strategy, I'm personally trading very similarly to what I was trading in Guerrilla. That's my first strategy, and this is the second one. So if you do want to learn a similar strategy to what was taught in Guerrilla Trading, the strategy does work, but the mentor turns out to be a scammer, and he basically ripped off the strategy from a different community. But if you want to learn it, you can do that at Zentum Trading. Okay, so you have Griff, you have Nico, you have me. The three of us met in Guerrilla Trading, and we are trading very similarly to that style, which means 1 hour chart, only price action, no indicators, no news, so very simple stuff. Okay. Back to the program. So what am I looking at? Well, this is gold. A bit of a deeper look. Okay, a bit of a more detailed look into gold. I mean, the daily looks great. The daily looks amazing. I kind of wish I kind of wish I didn't get out here. I think I got out of gold. Was it here? I think it was somewhere around this level. Okay, I was long from this level, I believe. I'm not sure on this daily chart. I have to go in the 1 hour. Let me check. So I was long from here, and I got out here. Yeah, that's it. Daily. Okay, yeah, so I was long in this area, and I got out here. So I kind of wish I held it for a bit longer, but it is what it is. You can never perfectly time the markets. So looking very strong. 1 hour. Let's see that. It looks pretty good as well. A lot of momentum, I would say. A bit of a pause here. So we did pause briefly, but then continued up. Right here. And yeah, this looks pretty bullish. I have to say, this looks pretty good. I'm actually looking for buy setups. That is why I have it on my watch list. What I would like to see is a push up and then a flag setup. Okay, I think that would be pretty good, a nice flag or a break and retest. But I need to see a big leg of momentum. Okay, I would definitely like to see some more momentum kick up. We had a bit of a slowdown here with these candles, just a little bit. So if we do get a bit more momentum, I would be pretty happy to get in on gold. Okay. Silver doesn't look as good as gold. I mean, you have this major red candle. Let's check out the daily chart. Fundamentally, gold is a bit more bullish. If you're looking at economic numbers, gold is a bit more bullish than silver. And also with the price action, I mean, gold looks better. See, this is a much stronger uptrend than the one we have right here on silver. But still, if I get a bit more of a bullish reading and I get a bit more bullish momentum on silver, meaning if we get something like this, a nice strong breakout and then a flag or a break and retest, I would be pretty happy to get in on a buy setup. Okay, I like this. If we do continue up, so if we do continue up, gold again looks better. I mean, if you compare this, see, gold has more momentum, bigger blue candles, and then this last red candle on silver, this one right here is very large. It's massive, very problematic. Clean close on the bottom even. Yeah, this is not a great sign in this very short term. Okay, let me check out the news. Okay, a bit of trade war concerns, looks like it. But the main news, which is also the title of the live stream, is the PCE. Okay, so the core PCE, this is something that the Fed heavily watches, and they watch the PCE to make a decision if they want to lower interest rates or if they want to raise interest rates. As you can see, this is higher. Okay, the forecast was 0.3. The actual number came in at 0.4, which means inflation is creeping higher. Okay, this is kind of happening to inflation, possibly. And it could mean that the Fed will actually raise interest rates. Okay, so we could see the Fed raising interest rates, which is bullish for the dollar. Okay, that is bullish for the US dollar. Ismail says, I mean, it's hard to think Joshua was a scammer. He always showed all and even his kids and family. Well, yeah, you never know if someone is a scammer or not. But one thing that I can tell you is I have never, ever seen a broker statement, MetaTrader screenshot, my FX book. I have never seen any sort of proof that Joshua was actually live trading. So I've known him for, I think, 3 to 4 years. I've met him on multiple guerrilla trading meetups, which were really fun. I had a lot of fun. I met all sorts of cool people. I spoke to Josh, but I never saw a track record. Not even an ounce of track record, which was a red flag, I'm not gonna lie, but I kind of ignored it because I really wanted to believe that he was this extremely successful trader. So I just put that, let's say, under the rug. I just kind of ignored the big red flag, which was basically no track record. So, and if someone can trade profitably, if they can make a lot of money for trading, why not have a track record? It doesn't make sense. The only reason why someone does not have a track record is because they cannot consistently extract money from the markets. Okay. Otherwise, having a track record is only positive for your basically trading community. Okay, having a track record hurts no one, and it only brings you more clients if you are providing an educational service. So the only reason why he didn't have a track record was because he was never live trading the concepts. But the concepts do work. Okay, the strategy does work. there is a clear trading edge. We know because we have actually been live trading it, and we have had some great success with the strategy. But the mentor, the main guy, was not, which is problematic. I'm not gonna lie. It was a big shock, and there were some red flags. I should have noticed it earlier. I think I noticed it in 2023. I finally came to the realization that that guerrilla trading is not really for me, and that I kind of want to move away from them. But to be honest, if I was a bit smarter, I should have noticed that even before, and I should have made some moves. But you live and you learn from the mistakes. Okay. So I also have the Nasdaq here on the watch list, which I will remove now. Okay. I will put it back right here because I took a loss. So I was in a buy setup right here, stop loss around here. And yeah, basically got taken out for a loss on the Nasdaq. So that's about it for the Nasdaq. Euro dollar is, I mean, the daily is bullish. Okay, the daily chart is bullish. This looked good. Now we are pausing a little bit of a pause, but maybe this can go up. Okay, maybe we can continue with the overall uptrend. Here, 1 hour. Just a second. Okay. So the 1 hour, kind of corrective. See? Pretty corrective right here. I mean, the overall descending like this. So breaking the lows and retracing, which is a bullish, it's a bullish sign. Okay, this is a bullish scenario because what you could, how you can interpret this price action is each time we try to go lower, we can't. Okay. So each time there's an attempt to go lower, the buyers start buying. And we are just very correctively moving down with not a lot of force, not a lot of momentum, which is, again, a bullish scenario in my book. In my backtesting, I have found these patterns, the descending channel, to actually be a bullish pattern. So am I surprised that we are now going up? No, I'm not really surprised. Okay. But again, this price action is not the cleanest. For my OG strategy, you could say this is definitely not showing me what I want to see. To be honest, most pairs are not looking conducive for my OG strategy. See, the OG strategy. They're just looking a bit flat. The euro dollar is the only one showing a bit of momentum right here. And now we ended with a huge wick, which is a warning sign. So what I would like to see is for this to continue up. And then a nice flag or a break and retest. The pound looks bullish on the daily. Okay. So the pound looks bullish. I would see actually more upside. Fundamentally, I think the euro dollar and the pound dollar are pretty bullish currency pairs, which makes sense because you're seeing an uptrend on the daily as well. So it kind of goes well together. I would expect this to happen. Okay. But then if I zoom in on my 1 hour where I'm looking for actual entry points, I'm just not seeing that clean price action. I was much happier, or I am much happier to look at gold, or let's say silver, not so much. Nasdaq was looking okay with this reversal setup right there. This was a very fundamental play, to be honest. Yeah, it just looks pretty choppy on this 1 hour. Pretty choppy and pretty flat in this area. Okay. Next one, AU, Aussie dollar. Very flat on the 1 hour. Very, very flat. The daily, though, flat as well. Yeah, Aussie US dollar just looks very corrective, very flat. Both currencies are fundamentally weak. Okay. So, what you want to see if you're trading Forex, you want to see fundamentally that one currency is strong and the other currency is weak. Okay. What you don't want to see is that both currencies are fundamentally strong, or in this case, as we are seeing right here, that both currencies are kind of weak. Okay. So the Aussie is weak, the dollar is definitely weak. That is why we're seeing flat. That is why we are seeing flat price action. Then the JPY pairs, we have 3 pairs here on the list that I trade with the OG strategy. And they're looking a bit flat, right? Nothing much is happening. If we zoom in on the 1 hour, a bit corrective here as well, unfortunately. A bit corrective in this area, not really moving anywhere. That's EJ, AJ. Yeah, sort of the same thing, flat, a bit range bound, a bit corrective, wicks all over the place. NJ, sort of again flat, range bound. Pretty problematic. There was a nice uptrend. When was this? Was it last week? This was last week. Yeah, this looked great. This looked very good. Yeah, I remember watching this. I was actually on vacation. So I was on vacation last week. And I was looking at this. I remember here for a break and retest. But it just did not fit the plan 100%. I did not have an order on. Why I didn't have an order on? First, I was on vacation, so I wasn't really 100% on the charts. But to be honest, looking back at this looks great. I should have had an order on. Maybe I was sleeping because I was in Dubai. There was a 3-hour difference, so it says the entry happened at around midnight Croatia time. Okay, so in Dubai, I think it was 3 in the morning. Yeah, must have been 3 in the morning. That is why I missed this entry right here. It wouldn't be a big winner. I don't think it would even tag you in. No, it really wouldn't even tag you in for a break and retest. So yeah, nothing much to comment on right there. After that move, which was definitely looking very nice, very strong, I don't know what caused such a big momentum move, but then we had a bit of a sell-off after that, and then we were pretty flat and range bound. So this is looking not that interesting, to be honest. Not that interesting in this area. So yeah, that's kind of the conclusion. I know that I've started to overcomplicate things a bit, so you're gonna have to give me a few weeks to get used to this new approach, to get used to trading 2 strategies. But again, let me try to give you a brief summary. So first strategy is the OG strategy, which I'm looking only at the 1 hour chart. See, only the 1 hour chart. And the summary for today, for Friday afternoon, the 1 hour charts of most of these 6 currency pairs, which I'm trading for the OG strategy, they look shit. They look pretty bad. I don't see any potential. Okay. They are really looking corrective. The type of price action I'm looking for this OG strategy, if you're new here, maybe if you have been watching me for a while, then you will know exactly what I need. But for the new viewers, this is the price action that I need. Here was almost a flag. Almost got a flag right here on NJ. Okay, it just did not fully print. We broke the high, retraced. But basically, I need this. I need this to print in the markets and compare this move, this type of price action, this type of momentum to what we are seeing right now. And the current price action looks really bad. So that is the reason why I don't have anything on the watch list for this first strategy. Now, in terms of the second strategy, let me give you a brief overview of that. So for that, I also need to talk about the fundamentals. So I know a lot of you will probably not really enjoy the part that is coming, but I think it's pretty exciting. I think fundamentals are really important. And yeah, I'm definitely going to start talking about them more and more in these streams. So let me open up the edge finder. Okay. Let me open that up. I should have prepared it in advance, to be honest. Now I'm just wasting time, but I was a bit sleepy before the live stream, so you're going to have to sit through this. Okay, edge finder. Okay, got it open. Stop sharing this, present, share. Let's see. Okay, should be working. Yep, looks like we are good. This is it. Okay, this is what I use for the fundamentals. I think currently this is actually free. Okay, I do think currently for only this week, the Edge Finder software is free to try out. So you should definitely check out the Edge Finder. The link should be in the description of this video. I'll post it in the chat as well. Edge Finder A1 trading. Okay. I do have a discount code in the description of this video. Okay. So if you want to buy the software, you can find it there. See, now I've lost this window. Okay, let's get back here. Let's start. So, top setups. This is what I'm looking at in the morning every single day. Same as Trader Nick. Eliminate the neutral bias, and this is what I want to see. This is what I'm looking for. These are the setups. These are the instruments that are very bullish or very bearish fundamentally. See, it takes into account all of these different things, a huge amount of data. See, the most powerful for me is the commitment of traders, and also the retail positioning is nice as well. Inflation is good, retail sales, GDP, and where is the interest rates? Yeah, interest rates. Okay. Anyways, gold, very bullish. Nasdaq, very bullish. That is why I took a buy setup. It was a loss, but I'm very happy that I did take that trade. S&P, NJ is bullish. What? That's crazy. Okay, NJ is bullish, which I didn't even spot. Bitcoin is bullish. CAD Yen, CAD Swiss, Swiss JPY, Pound Aussie, GJ, USD CAD is bearish, and Aussie CAD is bearish. What I'm taking from this is, to be honest, I'm taking out gold. It has a really high score. Nasdaq, really high score as well. Okay, 11, 10, Very nice. Another cool thing, here you can see the recent data that came in. You can see from today, 28th of March, okay? So 28th of March, we had the PCE inflation data came out. See? So we came out bearish for the US economy, but bullish for the US dollar. See, here is the dollar impact, here's the stocks impact. Bullish for the dollar because if inflation is going up, the Fed will maybe raise interest rates and the value of the dollar should, in theory, go up. And the value of stocks, if interest rates go up, economy contracts, stocks go down. Okay, so it's bearish for stocks. And that is why what we saw was a massive sell-off on stocks, unfortunately. So yeah, massive sell-off on stocks. I got taken out of Nasdaq for a loss right after this came out. Okay, right after this came out, I got taken out for a loss. But it's a part of the game, part of the probabilities. Still happy I took that trade. So my two favorite parts of the Edge Finder is the top setups and the economic heat maps. Okay, this one in particular, the US economic heat map, very, very valuable. Also, if you want to backtest, let me see this. This is a bit new. They changed it up a bit. If you want to backtest the Edge Finder score indicator, okay, which is something I also did. So I went back, I think a year ago or 1 year in history. I looked at this data and I was watching the charts. I was watching the Edge Finder. That is how I was backtesting. So you can view historical data of the Edge Finder and see if you can use the Edge Finder as a confluence in your trading. Okay, so that's about it for the Edge Finder. If you want to check it out, there's a link in the description. There's a discount code as well. I think the discount code is MARKO. I have it written in the description. And now, time to get back to the charts. So you have seen kind of the setups that I'm looking at. Where is my trading view? One thing I don't like about having a Mac, I switched from Windows to a Mac. It's pretty tough to play with all of the different windows of different applications. So a Windows laptop is much better for live streaming, I have to say. But for editing and producing content, Mac is much better, much faster. And also, if you're going on a trip, having a Mac, much better battery life. The quality of the laptop is so much better. So yeah, overall, really happy with the purchase. But one thing I miss is for live streaming, Windows was much, much more efficient, much faster. Because here I'm flipping through the screens, I'm wasting your time, I'm wasting my time. It's just a bit of a hassle. Anyway, we're back to TradingView. So for the second strategy, I have gold. I have silver, which I should kind of remove because it's no longer a bullish signal on the Edge Finder. So let me bring it back here. It's back to this section. Okay, Nasdaq, I used to have on the watch list, took a trade, it was a loss. So now I have removed it. I don't want to look for buy setups. This chart looks a bit broken. I'm not gonna lie. This chart looks a bit bad. So yeah, I just don't want to look for buy setups when there is a lot of selling pressure as we are seeing right now. The daily on the Nasdaq, it's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad chart. I was betting on a bounce here. Okay, I was betting on a bit of a bounce. we couldn't do it. It couldn't happen. Now we are printing two very, very large red candles, very big bearish candles. I would actually expect more downside. Okay. I would actually not be surprised if we get more downside at this point, because this chart looks pretty bearish. You may be asking, will I go short? Will I be looking for sell setups on the Nasdaq? No, I will not. I really don't like shorting stocks. I don't like shorting indices. I've only recently started trading them. I mean, the overall concept is that you should never go short. Why? If you look at the monthly chart, this is why. See, because on a huge sample size, like the last 30 years, last 50 years, we have just been going up. Okay, we have just been crushing higher. So I definitely don't want to go short because it pays much more if you go long. Right? It makes much more sense if you look at this chart. This is the monthly chart. By looking at the chart, it makes much more sense to go long. Okay, that's it. So the only one that is on the watch list for the second strategy for the fundamental play is gonna be gold. That's the only one. To repeat myself, what would I like to see? Well, I would like to see a leg of momentum up like this, and then a nice high probability flag or a nice break and retest. Okay, something like that would be very good for gold. S&P, very bearish. Okay, very, very bearish. Nasdaq recovered. Silver, look, I don't like this last candle. Let me see the daily. The daily chart is bearish as well a bit. I mean, it's pretty corrective, wouldn't you say? Compare this to gold. See, looks pretty corrective right here. Just breaking those highs very correctively and leaving wicks and retracing. So not the cleanest chart. I don't really like this chart, to be honest. And again, as I said, the 1 hour looks even worse with this very big candle. Let me see in percentage. 1.5%. There was no news as far as I know. PCE data, maybe. Look, no one really knows. But we did have the PCE data, which came out bullish for the dollar, and in terms bearish for metals. Okay, if the dollar goes up, gold and silver should go down in value. Okay. Also, with inflation, I'm gonna have to do a bit more research on that. But I do believe if inflation starts going higher, possibly that gold could start going down in value a little bit. But I have to research on that because I know when inflation goes extremely high, so when inflation creeps up higher, that means people actually want to buy gold because they want to protect their capital, because gold is limited in supply while the dollar is impacted by inflation. So if at the beginning of the year you have $1 million, at the end of the year, that 1 million is going to be worth less in buying power because of inflation. Okay, but if you buy, let's say, 5 kilos of gold at the beginning of the year, you will still have 5 kilos at the end of the year, but the price could be even higher than the beginning of the year. Overall, if you look at the chart, let me show you. So if you look at the chart of gold, right here. See, let's do the monthly. See? I mean, this thing looks very, very similar to the S&P. Very, very similar to the S&P, which means long term, if you hold gold, you will actually make some decent gains. Okay, if you long term hold some buy setups or hold physical gold, you should be making some nice gains on your investment, basically. Okay, so this chart looks amazing as well. This is the monthly. No signs of a slowdown, very bullish. That's kind of interesting as well. Bitcoin is in the dumps. Okay, Bitcoin is in the dumps. It's not looking the best. It looks pretty corrective. One thing you need to know about Bitcoin is a risk on asset. Bitcoin acts like a technology stock. Okay, so you could say that Bitcoin is very similar to Tesla stock. Very volatile, highly erratic, and when everyone is bullish on the Nasdaq, Bitcoin goes up in value. When everyone is bullish on stocks in general, Bitcoin should raise in value as well. Right now, if you haven't noticed, people are very bearish on stocks, right? Very bearish on stocks. Bitcoin is in the dumps. Yeah, just a little bit in the dumps. This correction is nowhere near what Bitcoin used to do. See, when it corrected like 80% or something like that. Yeah, holy fuck. Minus 77% correction from the high, massive. Here, it's not the case. Here we have, let's see, minus 30%. Okay, that's still pretty big. So that is still pretty big, but for Bitcoin, that is not as bad. We could still see a lot more downside. Definitely what I would expect, I would not be surprised if we retest these levels. Okay, I would definitely not be surprised if we retest these levels right here. Nice area of support. Okay, I would not be surprised if we go even lower. If we get like maybe like a 50% correction, that wouldn't really be surprising for the crypto space. What you need to know, if you're gonna take one thing out of this analysis, you should take out that Bitcoin acts like a technology stock, very risk on asset. So when stocks go up, Bitcoin should go up as well. When stocks go down, there's a very high chance that Bitcoin will go down with stocks. Ethereum, I don't even want to look at that. Oh my God. So Ethereum, Jesus. I do hold a little bit of Ethereum, which is not really the wisest decision, but again, you never know what is going to go up, what is going to go down. You just need to have, for investors, I mean, not for traders, for investors, it's good to have a diversified portfolio. So I have some S&P 500, I have some Bitcoin, and I have a little bit of Ethereum as well. As you can see, I think I bought here on this candle in November, and we're now in the dumps. So yeah, we have now from this high went down 54%. That is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. From the all-time high, which was here, let's see, minus 61%. So yeah, and Bitcoin is holding up much better. Bitcoin is holding up much better than Ethereum. See, Bitcoin looks better. The chart looks cleaner. The chart on Bitcoin definitely looks a lot more healthy than Ethereum. So my recommendation, if you're gonna be an investor, if you want to hold some crypto, I think Bitcoin is the best bet. I think Bitcoin is the safest bet. Is now a good time to be a buyer? Yes, I do think that as well. Okay. So if you want to invest some money into crypto, I think right now you're getting a discount. You definitely are. You're getting a 30% discount at these levels. Okay, maybe 23% discount. Anyway, don't go all in. I think we could still very much see lower levels, so you could buy some more. But if you get in on a small position here and then add to your position right here, and then maybe add some more if we go down a little bit more, well, you're going to be in a pretty strong position when we finally reach another, let's say, bull season or another explosion to the upside. Mr. Silly, pozdrav. Šta ima? Otkud si? Ako si sa Balkana, a pretpostavljam da jesi. So yeah, that's about it for crypto. Now the DXY. So the dollar index. This is the daily chart. The dollar has been losing a lot of value. Losing a lot of value here. Massive sell-off. Why? Well, if you haven't been watching the news closely, it's because of tariffs. So Trump tariffs, everyone is afraid. Generally, what is happening? The stock market is afraid. When the stock market is afraid, the value goes down. Okay. The dollar is losing value because of the tariffs. Money is actually flowing from the dollar into the euro, into the pound, okay, which is interesting. So one thing that you can take a look at, if you want to see the if you want to see evidence that the money is flowing from the US into Europe, alarm. This is the S&P, massive sell-off. This is the DAX. This is the European stock market. See, going up, steadily going up, steadily raising in value. A very clear sign that the money is going from this thing into this, into the DAX. Same thing with the currencies. Money is flowing from the dollar to the euro. Money is flowing from the dollar to the pound. Okay. We can view that in the exchange rates. Will there be a resolution? So Mr. Silly says, sa Balkana sam, živim u Irskoj, nedavno sam naletio na tebe pa sam zapratio, prvi put sam uhvatio da si live. Super, hvala ti puno na gledanju i uglavnom streamam jednom na tjedan, obično četvrtkom. Okay. So for my international viewers, I usually stream once per week, usually on a Thursday. Now I'm doing it on a Friday because yesterday I had a lot of work. But yeah, once per week, Thursday around 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. London time. For more information, I post all of the updates on my Instagram account. The handle is at Marcos Trading Journey. Okay, that's my handle for the Instagram. Follow me on there. You're going to get all of the updates if you want to catch me on the live stream. Also on Thursday at 2 or at 1:45 London time, I'm actually live streaming on Trader Nick's channel. Okay. So you can find me either on Trader Nick's channel at 1:45 London time Thursday, or you can find me on this channel at 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. London time Thursday. Back to the charts. So is this done? Are people still scared? Will there be a bounce? Okay. Will there be a bounce, or will this just go down? Will this continue dropping? No one can tell for certain, but the tariffs are approaching. I think it's the 2nd of April. The 2nd of April is the 2nd of April is the due date for the signing of the actual tariff policies. So once that is signed, you could see some relief in the selling. You could see some bullish pressure like this on the dollar and on stocks as well. Okay, you could see some bullish pressure on stocks as well, because then people maybe will get a bit more comfortable with the new Trump policies, with the new tariffs. And yeah, maybe there will be more confidence in the markets. When there is confidence, prices go up. When there is fear and uncertainty, as you have seen in the charts, prices go down. Svakako ću staviti napomenu da gledam sljedeći put. Sad sam samo se javio, budi pozdravljen, pričat ćemo. Da, hvala ti puno što si se pridružio i onda se vidimo sljedeći tjedan u četvrtak. Okay, so the XY, we have to see next week. Okay, next week. Let me check my calendar. Oh my God, stupid alarm. So next week, 2nd of April, I believe that is the date. I'm going to have to check. But 2nd of April, that is when most of the tariff stuff comes into place, basically. Okay, so the signing of the actual contracts or the tariffs is happening next week on Wednesday. And after that, I do believe we could see a bit more confidence in these markets. I'm not sure, no one really knows, but we could see a bit of a relief in the dollar, or at least in stocks, okay? At least maybe some relief in the stock market. So yeah, that's my forecast. I was wrong in the past, so we'll see. The final one for today. So the final one is going to be the US oil. That is the last one I have. Again, I'm breaking down major instruments, breaking down major assets. As you can see on that list, these are all of the ones that most investors look at, most traders look at, most Wall Street people look at. And US oil is the final one. The thing I talked about at the beginning of the stream, and the thing I recently learned from Trader Nick, oil and inflation is highly correlated, okay? Because oil directly impacts prices of goods that you and I are consuming. So food, just price of gas, heating, basically trips, plane rides, boat rides, anything that has to do with fuel or delivering goods is impacted by the price of oil. And if the price of oil goes up, inflation should go up as well. Okay. If the price of oil goes down, inflation should go down. What does that mean for Forex? Well, if oil goes up, the dollar should actually appreciate because inflation will go up. If oil goes down, the dollar should lose value, okay? This should happen because inflation should go down, okay? It's all connected. It's all very, it's kind of complex, but you need to know that it is all connected. One very interesting thing, when Trump took office, one of the main things that he campaigned for was lowering the prices of oil. That's exactly what, I don't know how, but he managed to do. See, this is around when he took the office, and we have dropped from the peak around 13%. And if you are at the gas station, or if you're at the gas station, you should feel this difference, especially if you are living in the United States. So yeah, this is also correlated. What did I say? If price of oil goes down, inflation should go down, and the value of the dollar should go down. Look at this. See? The value of the dollar has been steadily going down since Trump took office. And that is also another thing that Trump wanted to do. He wanted to lower the prices of oil, and he wanted to lower the value of the dollar to attract more foreign investment. Okay. What does that mean for us? Well, it could mean that that the price of oil could, in theory, continue going down with Trump's policies. It could mean that the dollar could continue going down. It could mean that EU could go up, GU could go up, AU could go up as well. Okay, so that is very good for Forex traders because it creates some extra volatility. Okay. So yeah, that is about it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you took some value. If you have any questions, you can reach out here, post a comment, or you can go to zentumtrading.com. You can join our free Discord. You can send me a DM on Discord, or you can post your question in the chat. Or if you really like Zentum Trading and you want to go from zero to becoming a consistently profitable trader, then you can become a premium member. Okay. All of the information is at zentumtrading.com. Summary. Only gold is looking interesting. Okay. So only gold looks good. All of the other ones, I'm not seeing much. Okay. I'm not seeing much potential, especially not seeing much potential on the 1 hour chart. Okay. So that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next week on Thursday. Again, all of the updates are posted on my personal Instagram, but usually once per week on a Thursday, 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. London time is the time that I live stream. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.